damn it, my microphone was muted. Anywho, as you can see, we just got started up, and we're looking to aim at an area, a region, an object. It's not even on my map. But supposedly there's a binary star in this vicinity that will flash and do stuff. So if we do Stellarium web, we just Google it. We can let it know my location, even though I'm sharing it now. But in fact, how accurate is the location data on this? Anywho, I need to look for, same thing, this catalog should be like readily up to date. Corona Borealis. Hey, what up, Slim? Yeah, I actually did this as a unlisted stream so that I have the option to list it later. But, you know, I don't mind you sharing it. I think it's funny, you know, it's interesting to see how many people will catch it from my tweet or whatever. It's good analytics. So basically right now we have, this region we need to point at, and I believe it was called, it had like some weird name, like T Corona. Yeah, I think it was T Corona Borealis, and this is it. So we need to be looking here. I could probably plug in the numbers manually, but what we're gonna do is add this to the catalog in the app to Stellarium. Like, you know, we're just gonna look for like a super generic, it's gotta be like in some generic post, right? Stellarium is a really popular, you know, planetarium app. I'm not really supposed to use Stellarium the way I use it. In fact, the way it's set up right now, it sometimes closes on its own. But that's because I switched to a newer, better plugin, but I'm still running the old plugin, so I really gotta like basically clean house in Stellarium. But this new method is pretty cool. I still don't trust it, but it gives you a cute, you know, 3D model of your telescope, so you can know if it's gonna bump into the tripod. Yeah, it's like, I think it's like literally now, like it can happen like anywhere. So yeah, your question is, it's this year, right? I think it's like it can happen anytime. It could have happened already, or it could still happen. So it's like, this is one of those situations where it kind of makes sense to like just aim your stuff at it and let it take pictures. I mean, I can do with 1 or 2 cameras. Normally, I reserve the wide field camera for guiding so that, you know, we don't lose our target. But I think for this one, I might have both cameras blasting away, because this software now has a method where it can do auto guiding while taking pictures. That didn't always work. So right now we're looking at a star cluster right now. So I mean, this is like a weird resolution. I'm like, I rarely use this camera in this capacity, but this is like an example of, in fact, we lower this, crank up the exposure to like something nice and long. There we go, like a 5 seconds. And in about 4 seconds, we're going to see this. See that blotch of crap up there? That's the star cluster. And on the big boy telescope, it looks nicer. Like, see, it looks like garbage here. Like, I don't understand. Like, I gotta like actually do a post and ask people, is this telescope supposed to have such like crap resolution? Like, it's not terrible. You can actually take really good color pictures in a wide field with this. But when I'm looking at the black and whites like this, I don't know, I'm like not satisfied with the detail. Like, whereas this telescope, it still looks kind of crappy, but you got way more resolution. Like, look at those dots. Like, they're all there. Like, these actually have a real color. Like, I have a wallpaper here that accurately shows, if I could just minimize all of these app browser file manager. Yeah, here we go. Where's the top? In fact, I think I might appear on camera now. Oh, yeah, look at me, I'm on camera. So yeah, you can see on this one, like if I was actually trying to zoom in, I know it's like terrible. I'm using it wallpaper as my only color image right now, but this was done by combining 3 separate colors. Like we literally went down here and did red, green, blue. So right here, like it's on red. And actually we could try to simulate what it should look like, because it's not black and white, it's black and red. We need the color thingy. Here it is over here. Did they take it away? I mean, it kind of makes sense if they took away the color feature, but there used to be a way to like preview it. But that's how you use a black and white camera to take color pictures. So, I mean, this is not bad actually. Like, if we collected raw data of this, we're good. Problem is, I still don't have autofocus, so that's why we need to add the freaking potential supernova to the list. Because even though I could take a beautiful picture of this, I mean, I can't be up all night to change the focus for each filter. So it's like whatever filter I fall asleep on, that's going to be the one where I'll get good pictures until it starts getting blurry when the temperature changes. So anyway, I got to update this. I don't even think I need directions for this. I was hoping there would be directions, but I mean, that page was a freaking article about this stupid thing. I mean, like, just tell me what catalog it's in, and I'll click the checkbox. Like, that's literally, like, the answer here. Like, maybe if I do catalog... Okay. T. Corona Borealis star catalog. Like, which catalog is it in? Catalog. Is it this? Not. Equinox? No. I got some astrometry. Like, just... It's got a designation, doesn't it? This is not the only designation. It should have a number. TRCB. Like, okay, I was spelling Corona wrong. So I will re-enter the search for Corona. So, in fact, we're going to just do that. Like, how do I get this one in Stellarium? Like, tell me you're going to not... These motherfuckers aren't going to just tell me... Borealis guy. It's the same fucking rehash. Okay, you know what? I'll just figure it out. So it's like in between Hercules and Boots. And I think Boots is like a fucking void. It's like a super... Oh yeah, you know what? Oh, I have so many things off in here. Okay, that's what we gotta do. Deep sky objects, solar system objects, and we want to crank this shit up to like that. To get them all in there, I guess, at this point. And I wish I knew what catalog it was on. Like, there's actually catalog checkboxes right here. So I can add new ones. I can add more data. I just need to know what catalog it's on. General catalog. Okay, well, no. Samus. Oh, there's a Samus plus 2000. That's interesting. They have a star named Samus. Okay, so it's recurrent nova in the constellation Corona Borealis. It was first discovered in 1866, blah, blah, blah. And it's got a cute abbreviation. TCRB normally has a magnitude of 10, which is like kind of dim. You can see it on binoculars, as they say. But then it gets super bright to magnitude 2, which is like bright as fuck. Like, to give you a reference, like Beetlejuice. We can do, Beetlejuice, and Beetlejuice's magnitude is 1.5. No, I'm wrong. It is 2.7. So this would be brighter than Beetlejuice, and Beetlejuice is a pretty bright one. There was some drama when Beetlejuice was going a little dim here and there. Just could be dust around it, you know. It's a big star. It's got gravity. It pulls dust in. It does things, you know. It could just as well be like, you know, a hiccup in the fusion process or some, you know. We just send a probe there sooner than later for fun. Okay, Sky Telescope reported the things, the brightness. Okay, I just... AAVO light curve. No, that's not a catalog name. I must be reading this wrong, but of the design... Oh, here we go. HID 783022. That's a familiar-ish number type. So I need to maybe add the HIP catalog to my app. Hopefully that there's literally HIP here. Just like the medical company HIP. Break a hip, call HIP. And if it's not here, I could probably just look for the word HIP here. H-E-I comes after E. H-I-G-P-S. high consider. Oh look, there's hips. There's a bunch of hip stuff here. Might just do the high one, but we're gonna double check. They got high gal. Yeah, that sounds like a good time. It's terrible. There must be something telling exactly what to look at. Yeah, right. Okay, that's a good. You know what? That's a good question. Maybe that's all I need to do is like, yeah, what is it? Where to look, right? You know, because that's obviously like the big question. And this might be one of those objects. Oh, they did say you can see it on binoculars, so it definitely can be seen. And so, if I was just gonna do Corona Borealis, if I'm even spelling it right. Oh, look, they have an abbreviation. They got VTRCRB. The V might actually mean variable. Let's see here. V star T C C R B, like lowercase. And it's got to be something we can look at. Like, okay, I mean, this is literally a map telling us point to somewhere, and I believe that red circle is like the money shot. Do they have a key here? Do I have to subscribe to Sky and Telescope magazine for it? No, I'm kidding. I wouldn't do that. I mean, I would if it was a good magazine, but you know, we could just do this. I think I can plug these in. But the HIP number is fine too. Like if the HIP number works. Like what was the HIP number I was doing? Like HIP 78. There we go. Okay, so there's our hip number. Oh yeah, see, Stellarium crashed again. That's okay though. It's not really disruptive because I set Stellarium to save my preferred settings when it loads. Except for any changes I made, like cranking up the number of visible objects in the map. So yeah, a little reset happens, but if I add a star catalog, it doesn't mess that up. So okay, HIP is not in here, right? We don't have a H, we don't have a HIP. We're gonna add the high one. I think we did. I think I updated it already. So we just make sure it has the high image, and then I can look for the fucking object. In the meantime, let's make sure this app isn't connected to the camera. Good, it's not. That would be annoying if it was connected to the camera. How to see T Coronae Borealis. Like, when it occurs, it will likely be visible to the naked eye. No expensive telescope will be needed. I mean this in a funny voice. To witness this cosmic performance, says NASA, TCRB outburst only happened about once every 80 years. The last was back in 1946. That's good. At least they waited till after the war so people could enjoy it. Let's see here. So it's like, what is the object? It's like, tell me where to point at, you know, like, I don't want to guess. I want to, like, but I could be off by like a half a degree and miss it, you know? Like, whatever this target HUD says, there's like pixels and degree measurements. In fact, let's get a measurement. Where am I pointed right now? So we're going to do plate solve and resync. And then we're going to wait and do annotate. Yeah, it's going to give us, tell me what the hell I'm looking at. Deep sky annotation. There we go. And I can even say set the target name, so I don't have to type in any name. That's the nice thing it does. So, okay, that's not in the center. I must make the mount fix that. Why is it? Wait, which camera am I on? I'm on the correct camera. Unless we do that. And we go on this one. Alright. Tools. And is that what I'm doing with this object? Is just aligning it against a known target. So that when I go to slew to the other object, in fact, I could probably do the hip number. It might be in this catalog. It doesn't matter if the other app sees it. If this app sees it, it don't really matter. So first, we're going to do the nebula I'm looking at now because I'm not even aiming at it. So I'd like to get the reticle pointing at it. And then I'm going to tell the computer, like, line it up. See, we got like a nice little star trail. And then we can like take a picture around here, I guess. And It'll be what, plate solve, resync, just to kind of get a guarantee that's going to center it. And then based on the annotation, and so the issue is as it takes a little drift, the target will start to drift. Oh, that's annoying. That's got to be fresh, no big deal. And then the target won't be on target, but it's not really a problem because the final image can always be re-scanned or whatever. All right, so now we want to look at HIP 6872 or whatever. All right, well, there's something, and it's called a double star, double variable star, and its magnitude is presently 10.3. And if it becomes a, 2, it'll be bright as fuck. So let's see if we can resolve the star at magnitude 10, and then we'll plan around resolving it at a different magnitude. We can even check the magnitude of the last target, just to see, like, we were looking at a magnitude 6-ish. So, chances are we'd be able to see this with, a longer exposure. Is it going to be a problem if it gets too bright when it goes off? If it goes off on camera, maybe, but at that point, that'll just underscore that we definitely captured it, as long as the whole picture doesn't get washed out. Which is something I'm concerned about, but, I think we can deal with that. Oh, still making good time. It's not midnight yet. I'm trying not to push it, All right, so now let's see here. We need to do that. So I believe the computer thinks it's pointing at the star, and it's going to find out it's not pointing at the star, and it's going to center the target better. At least that's what I'm hoping it does. There's apparently a galaxy hidden back there somewhere. Like, you take a long enough picture, you might even see the galaxy. Now, because I'm not running in color, which there's, no issue if you're just looking for something flashing, you really don't need to be capturing in color. But I could capture in, like, hydrogen red instead of just regular red. Yeah, no, I mean, like, I'm cutting it close with, like, the, work tomorrow, but it's also, like, a 3-day schedule, so it's, like, if I had clear weather on Tuesday night or Wednesday, this would be perfect, But sometimes, like, when there's a good astronomical event and the weather is actually clear tonight, like, knock on wood, you got to take advantage of it. I mean, it rained so much of this winter. I actually had, like, a missing part of my telescope for part of the winter, and then even during that time it was raining. And so I lost a few nights to, like, maintenance, but I lost a lot more nights to rain. And the winter is, like, prime time. Okay, so this is a little sketchy. Give me a second. Oh, shit. I'm in lunar tracking mode. So when when I'm following the rotation of the Earth, it's trying to do the lunar speed. It's like, no. We need to do Earth rotation. So we were doing, the telescope was literally correcting for, if we go from east to west, because that's what this thing's, why it's mounted in this funny way. Like, if you're looking at it from behind, that's north in front, and this thing basically just pivots on this, like, bar, and this angle, this diagonal is always locked in, but the rotation of this bar is what's continually changing in it, like, more or less straight circle at a 40, like, it's almost a 40-degree circle, like, in air, because my latitude is 41 degrees. That angle is my latitude. So it has to spin at the right speed, or it will look like it's drifting. So I'm glad we caught that earlier than later. All right, so now I'm doing how long of exposure? Let's just do it anyway. Yeah, because I think oh, there we go. See, I know what to do to fix stellarium. It's so not a big issue, but it's kind of funny how that happens. Like, I know exactly what I did to break stellarium, so, like, I'm not really, like, bent out of shape that the software crashes like that. And this new computer in the backyard is so fast. I have, like, an AMD Ryzen fancy 8-core. So this thing's like, it can open stellarium and reopen it and not waste a lot of time. So now here, we're going to just crank up the histogram again. And I don't even see the fucking thing. I don't necessarily have to see it. I just need... Oh, why is it making the bell noise? Uh-oh. That's not good. That's annoying when it does that. I don't have my sound on, but when I click on the taskbar icon for Stellarium... Oh, there we go. It's making a stupid, like, error message noise for a minute. So, okay, am I aiming at it? I mean, I kind of am. I don't trust it, but also you're not really expected to zoom in on it this much. I am going to try to forcibly recenter it, but I think it's as centered as it's going to be. And then I really just have to rely on auto guiding. So assuming I'm actually centered on target, let's say we're centered on target. Name of the object was 78322. Here we go. Good. It's got the name right there. Boom. There's the star. Set target name. Do we need to center it in view? We can try it for fun, but I don't think we need to. But let's see what happens when we do. I want to see if it actually centers it in view. And then we need to turn on auto guiding. Now, this is the part that we're doing differently. Normally, I use this other app to auto guide. This one here. And that's its only job. But what I want to do instead is take the baby telescope and make it do the job of this app while also taking the pictures, you know, like might as well take the picture while we're at it. So we'll call, you know, whatever. Here we'll call it guide frames. And this one's like this telescope has no real filters. I think I have a light. I don't even think I have a light pollution filter on it right now. I should change that. I should buy. It's $120, but I should buy a second light pollution filter for this telescope. I don't think it would do a lot, but it would be nice to have installed on here. I think it would help a little bit. All right, so this is. See how quickly washed out we get? There's like no filter, like all of the street lights, all of the shit that would, you know, mess up naked eye astronomy observations is, I think, already rearing its ugly head. And oh, there we go. Unless I'm doing it wrong, but let's see. Like, okay, we see stars. Let's crank it up to 15 seconds now. But you know, we could like kind of play with these settings here to kind of get like an okay combination. Now, this telescope is going to be off alignment regardless. And I have to make sure that the software doesn't actually, let's see, I hope it doesn't actually link to the mount and update the coordinates on the mount. That would be very inconvenient. Please don't screw up the mount. Oh, it's not even configured for this telescope. Oh, wait, did it work? So now I should be able to use the annotation here too. This is like a new feature. Okay, there we go. That's the target. Boom, got it. I got the right name up there. I got the target over here. So this is fantastic. Now I need to decide how long of an exposure can we sustain. Like I think 15 seconds is probably fine. Also, it would allow us to catch an interval if it went and started flashing on us. This is like, you know, we could probably do shorter exposures and just take more pictures. This camera is a meager 1080p. We can actually increase the brightness by lowering the resolution a certain way, but that doesn't seem like it would be good in our case. I mean, we wouldn't, I mean, yeah, I don't think we, yeah. So there we go. We got 2 telescopes trained on target now. This one has a file name, so I'm going to try to turn on guiding here. I hope it works. And then we can switch back to the other instance of Sharp Cap and tell that program to take pictures in a loop all night while I'm sleeping. Hopefully I'm sleeping. That would be ideal. Polar sequencer. What the fuck was I doing again? What is progress here? Oh yeah, okay, I know what I gotta do. Guiding. Feature tracking. I think that's basically the only feature that we can use for that. So okay, that's a feature. A star is a feature, right? Use center of mass. Use image features. I think center of mass would be good. Now, can I pick an area? Like, how does that part work? Oh wait, it has to link to the mount. Okay, this is where things get scary. You know what? No, this mount is not going to be. I got it. Okay, I got the answer. This one just takes pictures. Okay, that's the solution here. So, what is it like? If I don't take 500 pictures, it'll be taking pictures from now until 12:31. Okay, now we need more pictures. All right, so 500 is 12:31. So what? Like I get like an hour for each. So it's 5,000. All right, 9:54 a.m. It's gonna take pictures until 9:54 a.m. No matter how bright the sky, like the last set of pictures are gonna all be like washed out, but I can delete them, you know. So good on that. Now we're monitoring the sky on a wide field scope, and Stellarium crashed again. I don't even care at this point. I don't really need it anymore right now, hopefully, but now we need to see the thingy here. And we need to center HIP 7832 into view. But first, let's make sure we resync it. Complete solve and resync. Alrighty, it must think it's pointing somewhere else, which is fine. We can tell it to aim at the thing. Ah! Oh good, it's in my history. ET's gonna look at my internet history. He's gonna be like, you're looking at our planet. Ah shit, I pointed at some other place, I think. Did I? I don't even know. I don't even know what did I just point at? 78322. 78. Nope, that's not 78322. That's 78322. Oh shit. Pardon my language. It's giving me like a completely. No, it's the right star. Okay. That looks like the right one. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yep. 78322. Okay, and then it's in the middle here, so we'll let it refresh. And on the next refresh, it might even be the right one. And it has a name, Blaze Star. Blaze Star, Blaze. Okay, we're a little bit off center. It's not like a big deal, but we are going to center it better because we are Americans. Now it's in the middle. Okay, now we got target name. We just set target name. I don't need to type any fancy notes because this is the main, data. And now we're going to decide how many seconds we want it to take pictures for. Oh yeah, what filter? Well, I think we should do hydrogen because it's going to allow us to do a longer exposure and block out more light pollution. And stars, what, they flash in hydrogen, right? There's a lot of hydrogen doing stuff. There should be a lot of electrically charged hydrogen plasma in those two stars. So it stands to be reasoned I should be using the hydrogen alpha filter to image it. We already have the telescope cooling itself down the camera to -15 centigrade. That'll cut down on noise on the image sensor. If you notice, the other camera gets a bit grainier when you crank up the histogram, and there's a reason for that. And it's basically because we're not even cooling this camera down, although we're not being too aggressive with the long exposures because it's not equipped. But what you will see is when the humidity changes or any cloud passes by, it'll affect the image more. Whereas the filtered image can almost see through clouds depending on the type of light it's dealing with. Okay, so we got our hydrogen, and hydrogen is inherently dim. That's why we had to crank up the histogram to even see anything. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to go like, we'll start 30 seconds. And we can get a baseline image. Let's say we'll turn off the histogram stretching so that we can see like how much image. I didn't know you could stretch the histogram. I didn't know you could make these manual adjustments here. Like, so when I was doing my first year or two of this hobby, I was like trying to like, do everything without using this. And using this makes a difference. I mean, we can see things where we couldn't see things before. Okay, so now, and that's okay if we have a washed out background. We could fix that later. We have our ways, I already have a set of dark frames that I use to subtract hot pixels from the image. So should we go longer? Go longer, we get more light. We collect more photons, Now, are we auto guiding yet? We're not even auto guiding. Oh boy. So this one's gonna be a little concerning, but I have an idea. All I want to do is feature tracking. Oh, don't want me doing feature tracking while I'm doing that. That sucks. Do I really need auto guiding? Yeah, I think I do. No, well, I don't really need auto guiding. I'm just worried that the image is going to gradually drift if I don't use guiding. Okay, that didn't really work the way I expected it to work. I'm about to try to cheat. Now I'm going to try to cheat. Now I'm going to try to use the camera to do two jobs at the same time. I don't know if the software is going to appreciate this. I don't know if the camera is going to appreciate this. But if it does not mind doing this, then I will use this functionality. I don't think the camera wants to send pictures to two cameras at once. I do not think the camera likes doing that. I might have to get, we're not going to do the wide field camera. It was a cool idea, but let's be real. It's got no light pollution filter on it. We're limited by the exposure time. The star is tiny anyway. Like so if this was a wide object, it'd be different. But what we really want is to be locked on target, right? We want that thing in the crosshair to be there, like without fail. So what we do is we tell this app to connect to the camera, my secondary camera, and it's not going to take pictures, but it's got a wider field of view, and it can guide. It can send corrective pulses to the mount. So we refresh it. We can even, like, I think do this to automatically. I manually readjusted the focus on this before I went inside. So there we go. It measures like the profile of the star or stars. I could probably tweak it a bit. But this should ensure that this more or less stays in the center of the frame. Like there we got our star there. And why did the program just beep? Something just beeped at me. Okay, let's close this before we get into trouble with that. All right, now Let's see if I can tweak this a little bit. Although it looks like it was being pretty precise. See, I want to make sure there's like a nice pointy star. Like I don't want to have any of that like top of the star flickering or jumping, you know? So I'm going to try to get like, yeah, like a nice clean peak like that. You know, I want the star to look something like that. So we can rescan. Or we can manually pick a star. And if I was to manually pick one, I'd probably pick like that. That looks like a nice clean star. You know, it's giving me a nice peak to lock onto. Sometimes if you have passing clouds, it could be a little annoying, and the multi-star guiding is pretty cool. I don't know how much I trust it, but it seems to deliver good results, so we might give that one a chance in a minute. But for now, I'm going to let this show me, figure out how much drift I'm getting. So the blue is like east-west, the red is north-south. So that's just basically another way of saying east to west is like when the counterweight bar is moving in that circle, and then north to south declination is when the green part is pointing in a different direction. Although the reality is that shit confuses me because half the time it looks like it's pointing east and west and not north and south, but it makes sense when you're dealing with compass bearings. So this pivot, this spin point is like 40, is like the east, the north south. And then this spin point on the black, right angle, this spin part here, which spins like this, that is, east to west. So it's like east, west, like the sun rising and setting. And then this is just like pointing at either the sun, the moon, or any other object that passes overhead because of the earth rotating. So this seems to be building an okay graph. The trend lines are kind of closing up. I don't like when I see a shit ton of corrective pulses. I feel like when I ran it earlier, it wasn't working as hard to keep it centered. So I might pick the other mode. But like anything else, you got to give it a minute to settle down. I mean, you don't have to, but it kind of makes sense. Because multi-star guiding, I think, is a little bit better if like you get a cloud that blocks out some of the stars. So you might lose some of your high-quality dim stars. Because I feel like dim stars are high-quality light sources when things are clear. But once they come, you lose them. That's it. And, it's not much to see here. It's, like, that's why star cluster would be a lot more rewarding. Although, I'm either seeing speckles here because of noise on the sensor, or there are neighboring stars here. My guess is this speckles on the sensor because they look too perfect. Yeah, those are speckles on the sensor. We're going to subtract those out in, in post. See, like perfect white squares? They're not stars. I mean, they could be stars at times, but generally speaking, these perfect white squares of pure white or shades of gray are not stars. Because a star would even occupy like 2 or 4 pixels, even if it was really dim. Like, it's like you're not going to have a star that's stuck in one area. Even these dark spots, like, are probably, like, if you see them across, like, 100 frames, and then the same place no matter what, then, yeah, they probably also can be subtracted out. Whoops, dang it, I didn't mean to do that. All right, well, whatever. So, this will get bigger, and we already have a measurable size, like, across the night, taking multiple pictures, like, this has something that can be measured, because remember, the telescope can align itself. We, demonstrated that. It's called plate solving. That's where it takes a picture, matches it with a star map, and basically auto aligns it. And so if we already know that we can measure that the telescope is pointing at a given spot at any given time using the precision of computer technology. And so now that we know it's pointing in a given spot, then I presume there's another way of measuring this. I think it's the photometry crap up here. I'm afraid to use it right now. I don't want to ruin the picture. Stellar photometry estimation, experimental. Well, I like experimental. Let's see here. Okay, so we're going to get rid of the crosshair for now. And there's this thing. We got to click on a star like that, I think. No, it's not doing that. That's gay. I'm pardon my language, but... So I got like a, like there's something here, like it's got like a little dot. And I got like a little handle I can grab it with. Oh God, shit. You know what I just did? So I don't know why it does that, but I'm pretty sure I just enabled a feature that lets me click and drag. And it aims the telescope automatically. Like it moves this fucking thing, like, which is like the least desirable behavior. And then auto guiding is probably like, what the fuck just happened? Yeah, see, the auto guiding is like, was not able to make sufficient corrections in the declination axis. It's like, yeah, because I told the telescope to just like go, like the graph is all fucked up. It's like, it's like trying to correct it. Like it's really fighting. Like you can see like the red is like, go south, go south, go south. And it's like, nope, nope. Like that line is like, fuck no. And there's the trend line. Like you got a nice blue trend line for like east to west. And then you got this red shit going like across. Yeah, it's madness. So I don't know what I did. I was like, see, I was right to be afraid. See, I thought it sounded ridiculous. I was like, I'm afraid to try photometry. And I'm like, why should I be afraid to try a thing that measures the size of a star or the brightness? So I'm like, okay, you know what? We're going to click it. And you saw what happened. I fucking dragged the star map across the darn screen. I got to manually, okay, I re-aimed it. Now I got to shorten my exposure time so I can friggin' see it in this lifetime. And we're in hydrogen right now, so because I'm lazy, I'm going to go to red. I'm going to keep the exposure time short. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4. All right, good. And then we're going to say plate solve and resync. And it's going to then correctly give me my annotations. And I'm going to tell it in the annotation, use that as my target name. Whoops, I didn't mean to close that, but whatever. But the question is, when I clicked photometry, like, what is it measuring? Only the brightest fucking stars? I'm sorry, it's like such harsh profanity of me. But I feel like it's like I don't give a shit about that star or that star. I mean, unless maybe there's some science behind this. I'm pretty sure these are measurements I could take in post-processing, so I should probably just, oh wait, I see it. There's a sensitivity thingy here. So I could probably play with the sensitivity setting and see different things. So, okay, well, let's try lowering the sensitivity. And let's increase the star count. Yeah, okay, now we can, okay, so now we're going to do like sensitivity 10. And I'm going to let it refresh and maybe it'll like populate. I just wanted to give me numbers on this star. That seems like a cool thing to do. Screw it, you know what? We're going to do that in post. I just realized this is way too inefficient. But it is interesting that you can do it in real time if you needed to. For now, all I need it to do is aim at the correct target in real time. That's all I want or expect of any of these instruments or software. I'm going to do this. This time I'm going to clear it, scan it, lock it, and we're going to try to multi-star full width half medium. It's a scientific term. FWHM, full width half medium. So you're measuring the full width of the brightness of this star. So that's the star from the top, like the way you would look at it from the ground. That's the star. So it's basically like one of these stars is being shown in this corner over here. I think it's actually the star over here. And we're seeing that, like, you know, it gets bright in the middle and it gets less bright as you go, you know, away from the center of the star, like any light source of that shape, I guess. And as it turns out, just the image from looking at it head on is enough to generate this little triangle here. And so you can see how like the top represents the bright center of the star, and then the brightness is falling off as you go away from the center. And so somehow it's able to take this, turn it into this, and then it can pretty, you know, precisely, you know, send commands to the motors saying, you know, less or more corrective pulses. And I think this is working. I think this is working. Like, it doesn't have a terrible error rate. I notice it's correcting more to the east, so that means the mount is rotating quicker to west than I guess it should, and this is pulling it back a bit, which is fine. Like, it's its job. It's actually more or less okay. It's always good to tweak every bit of the system to, like, if let's say that I can mechanically fix that, that's one less thing that the software and the shit has to correct for. But we also are using the software to correct for that type of thing. So as long as you don't have like different errors piling up excessively, it's all good. Like, I'm glad I polar aligned it when I did, because that requires me to be manually there to do it. I have to turn a wrench basically. I have to I have another camera on the mount for polar alignment, and I have to basically use software and then use my vice grips at the same time. And there's some plastic knobs on the telescope too, with really big lag bolts. Or machine bolts? I don't even know. They're fucking big bolts going into cast aluminum, and I gotta basically use them to go east, west, north, south to get that exact polar alignment right. But it rained a lot. Okay, what am I doing? We got the star. Oh yeah, so we gotta pick the hydrogen filter once again. And one thing I forgot to do when I switched to hydrogen earlier, which we're gonna address right now, is I neglected to set the focus. Like, the focus is pretty close to red, but each filter can be somewhat different in focus. So unfortunately, focusing in hydrogen, you get a very dim star to work with. And it looks like something happened here because the star is moving across the sky. I don't know what happened, but something happened. Uh-oh. Oh, okay, that's okay. Yeah, so things that... Wait, did it? No, it did not do a meridian flip. What the fuck is going on? Wait, did an airplane fly by? Okay, whatever. That was unexpected, but we're going to see here. Okay, so first we're going to do that. We're going to make sure we're on the right camera. Not playing games. Got to make sure it's the right camera because I'm not going to sit here on the wrong camera. Okay, good. It's the right camera. And then we got to make sure it's pointing at the thing we want it to point at. We'll recenter it for good measure. We'll go back to the red filter because it's quicker. Make sure it doesn't drift. Let me see here. Complete solve and resynchronize. Okay, and then see, I don't know why that thing's off like that. I don't even care. It's close enough. I hope it recenters it though. I mean, it's the least it can do. Like, aim at the target. Whoops. Like, that's what I'm paying it to do. I'm being a little greedy, actually. Oh, there we go. Oh my god, it was already centered, and I just probably fucked it up. Okay, hopefully I didn't mess it up just now. Let's see. I think we're good. Okay, good. I didn't mess it up. I think maybe that fixed it. All right. You know what? Yeah. Trust your judgment, as they say. So now we're going to switch to this one because it'll be less confusing later on when the yellow starts drifting. And we're going to switch back to hydrogen. We're going to leave it on a 4-second exposure, and we're going to try to get better focus. Like I said, hydrogen alpha is the color of star stuff, basically. And, hopefully the supernova thing is on tomorrow, so I can do this on my Monday show, and then I don't have to work hard tomorrow to do a good show. I can recycle. Let's see, where the F is the focuser? Uh-oh. Aw. Oh, there it is. Okay, I thought I lost it for a second. Whew. I nearly had not a heart attack, but I was like, uh-oh. Let's try -25 and see how that changes the dot. We should definitely move this over so I can actually see what I'm looking at. Me too. I literally gotta. I'm gonna try to. I'm gonna wrap this up in like 5 to 7 minutes. That's my goal. Like right now, all I gotta do is there's nothing worth seeing. Like let's just say I would run the stream all night. I'm not gonna record all night either, but only because like OBS eats a gazillion gigabytes when I do that, and it depends on what I'm recording. I really should configure it too. In fact, I have OBS on the backyard computer. I could record shit off that, but I really don't need to if I'm recording frames anyway. So that's how I'm going to do it. So yeah, I'll have raw data afterwards. In fact, maybe I'll do that as part of tomorrow's show, is analyze the raw data. Yeah. So Word, have a good night, and thanks for tuning in. And I'm just going to try to tweak this before I go to bed. See, -25. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. Oh, I get UFOs all the time. Oh yeah, no, all the friggin' time getting these UFOs. They'd be like, usually they're just satellites. Probably new Starlink satellite here and there. A couple of GPS satellites crossed my sky before. A meteorite, an asteroid. Those are a little bit obvious. I hate when I try to look for a meteor shower and I can't fucking get it. Like, I just want to point at the patch of the sky and get a bunch of streaks. Like, I'm not even asking for like detailed pictures of rocks. And I hope one day I do get that. I think I just gotta put a wide field camera out there. Cover more sky. Let's cover a nice wide patch. So we're going to focus on that star because it's perfect. It's brighter than the one we're actually looking for, and it doesn't really matter. We just need to lock on to something. And now I can do like -25, and I'm leaning over. And I can try to judge if it's better. That might be better. Okay, now it's going out of focus, which is fine. I purposely am bringing it out of focus so that I can judge when it's... Oh! What was that? Like a bright dot up there. Like that could have just been an airplane aberration. Could have been a camera glitch. But yeah, I did get like a random flash up there, and I even recorded it. Like, we got a timestamp and everything. And, well, kind of a timestamp. We don't really... Okay, whatever. Okay, let's just... We're going to go positive 150 steps. Then... I'm going to wait a second. I'm going to bring it down negative... Oh, shit. Thanks, motorized focus, for being whack. I recommend you go to bed now because at this point focusing becomes tedious. Like if I'm lucky, what it does is it becomes available and I can click on the button and it'll move the motor. The problem is for every correction I send to the motor, I gotta wait like at least 30 seconds. Like this is like a weird glitch, and the only way I know how to fix it is to reboot the computer or go outside and unplug the camera and focus it and plug it back in. So I'm going to wing it. I'm going to like YOLO it right now, but this is a fucking annoying issue. Although right now it's being, knock on wood, it's being not, I think it snapped out of it. I think it snapped out of it this time. So that's good. I thought it was going to do that thing. It literally has this lame thing where like it does it once in a while. It's not a big deal, but it's like when it happens, it's just like it slows me down bad. Right now, it looks like I can still control this in a reasonable time, so there's no problem. To really get a meteor shower, you've got to get into fields with no light pollution or a good filter. But you're right, especially for naked eye astronomy or even binoculars, because any amplification of light that a person's eyeball is looking at through a telescope is going to, it's going to also amplify undesirable light and wash out the faint signatures we care about. See, now I'm trying to get greedy by moving it in increments of 5, but the way I see it, if I move the focus in increments of 5 and it gets stuck, I can't fuck it up too much. And sometimes I like to overcompensate on the negative increment of focus so that if the temperature drops, I'm good. You know, like that's the problem is when I mean, yeah, look, using filters in a dark sky area, oof, you know, like that's like the best of both worlds right there. And I know like the city or suburban experience is a little mediocre. Like, you know, like I'm lucky I get away with as much as I do, but this would be hell of a lot easier, you know, in a dark sky. Okay, so now we're on hydrogen. Now we're more or less in focus as far as I'm concerned. I'm gonna start with let's see. Okay, so it's already fucking almost midnight, but I guess we'll do a 60-second exposure, and I'll decide if I want to run a longer exposure when I go to bed. The gain setting is almost like setting the ISO on a camera, and the 1700 setting is supposed to be like the optimal like level of contrast ratios and what have you. But it may or may not be, and that's all right. But at this point, I'm just gonna do or die. There we go. We got it. You know, it's doing the thing. Oh shit, we gotta turn on auto guiding. I don't know why this thing got all whack on us before, but we're gonna just lock it onto a single star. That's how we're gonna solve that. Okay, so there's our star. That's a 1 minute exposure. Auto guiding should reduce the odds of streaks happening. Although I don't really trust it at the moment, but we're gonna try something to fix that. All right. So we're gonna lock onto a single star. We're gonna cross our fingers that this is good enough, um, and we're gonna make sure that we're not doing lunar tracking again, because that'll throw a monkey wrench in. Okay, no, it says sidereal. Sidereal means that we're dealing with the rotation of. Okay, that looks a little concerning there, but we're gonna try to just let the graph roll. Maybe the telescope bumped into the tripod. This looks bad. Let's just let it go unguided and go to bed. I don't trust this at all. I don't know what's happening there. That is just weird. I don't know why this thing is like freaking the fuck out. You know what? We'll just close this app and reconnect it. This is like a small app. Let's just reset it. Not taking any chances here. Yeah, it's a minor inconvenience. Like, I can pretty much stick with 60-second exposures if I have to, but you need guiding if you're gonna go longer. Okay, that star does jump a bit, but that's, I mean, not a big deal, but that is a bit of a factor there. And there are some clouds in the air. That could be throwing things off a bit. I think there's some clouds. Word, have a good night, Slim. Alright, please work. Alright, that's kind of working. No, not really. It looks a little sketchy there. Oh, what the fuck is this thing? Oh, I know what I gotta do. Hold on, okay. Park it. Yes, absolutely park the telescope, computer, because clearly you can't keep the telescope automatically aimed now, can you? Nah, but jokes aside, we got this. Alrighty, we're gonna go with unguided exposures because we're not getting a terrible amount of drift here on the 30-second exposure. And if the star is going to change, drastically change magnitude, we can still document that in 30-second intervals. If I go for like 5-minute exposures, I don't know if the star gets dim in the middle of that 5 minutes or not. And I don't really have time to research it. But I figure like 30-second intervals, if we get like a supernova or something, whatever you call it, a collision, it'll be a bigger white dot, and having a more granular exposure time frame rate should, may be helpful for animating the actual, burst. And I mean, it's certainly not going to get dimmer, right? It's supposed to get brighter, not dimmer. So I figure we can see the dot. If it gets brighter, anything's going to be brighter than this, And even though it's drifting a little bit, I think that can be dealt with later. And it's a little annoying. I'm not crazy about it. But this is we could deal with this. It probably throws off the photometry or something. Let's see. We're going to put the crosshair right next to it on the corner like that. And I'm going to see what happens when it refreshes. Oh my God. That thing went down. That's fucking insane. I'm sorry, pardon my language, but that is insane. Okay, so we're going to try something now. We're going to try North 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. Okay, just lower that. Okay, we're going to do it. Come on. I don't even see. Okay, so that's me moving it that way. And if I press this, I can move it this way. So I think I can move it around. Clearly I'm moving it around now. Okay, we got it near the center. Now we're gonna do maybe sure, why not? No, calibrate. Ah shit, did I reset the calibration? I may have reset the calibration. I don't even give a shit anymore. We're calibrating it over here. I don't even care. I'm not picking another star. I mean, if I have to, I will, but I really don't feel like doing that. I'm hoping if it calibrates under these suboptimal, what do you call it, conditions, that it'll really be good at guiding against a unpredictable target, afterwards. It looks like it's working. I see the thing moving. It's doing it right angle. Okay, I can see the right angle has changed angle. I suspect I may know why. I may actually know the answer to this. Now it's occurring to me. But as long as it accepts the new calibration data, who cares about any warnings it gave us? Yeah, it gave a warning or two. It was like, oh, you really shouldn't do this. This is what happens if you do this. But look at that. Yeah. I think it's working. The calibration worked. We have multi-star guiding. No bull, right? Look at that. It's barely making any corrections anymore. When it's done calibrating, it just keeps going apparently, if nothing appears awry. And apparently it decided this was all acceptable, and now we're getting precise on the money guiding. So the question now becomes, were we pointing at the star we want to point at? Probably not. So we're gonna delete all of the earlier pictures, I think. Or whatever, it's 12:20, I can do math. But we have to we're gonna do this. We're gonna do a red filter. lock it in. Maybe go like -15, see if it gets better or worse. I think it's about right. And then we're gonna crank it up to like 7 seconds should be fine. And we're gonna say to Stellarium, which crashed again. I gotta uninstall it. It's really easy to fix, but I gotta uninstall Stellarium and reinstall Stellarium because I installed it with I could probably just uninstall a bad plugin, but I rather remove the whole shebang since, you know, it's not like really kosher to have a bad plugin installed in the first place. Okay, so we're just gonna make sure we're more or less centered on target. Then we're gonna let the 7-second thingy go. And then we're gonna wait one more set of exposures, like now. We're gonna do resync. And then after it resyncs, we're gonna do annotation. And then we're gonna be like, yeah, set target name, we already did it. Just to be on the safe side. And then we're just gonna keep it in our crosshair, something like this, right? Just so we have an idea where it is. Then I'm tempted to do a 60-second exposure, okay? But I know I should probably just do a 30-second exposure. Bottom, fudge. Oh, I did that. That was my bad. I started slewing during guiding. That's okay, that didn't break it. But yeah, we just gotta be aware of that. Now we're newly engaged. We can monitor that while we wait for the next picture to come up here. Looks somewhat okay. It's not terrible. It's pretty much more or less normal. Okay, so now we got one picture. It looks something like that. Do we take more like this? Okay, that's actually going to be the picture. Well, let's see. It's a little oblong, this star. So I'd give it a minute to see if the guiding makes it, look straight. And if the star looks straight, I think 60 seconds should be fine. How long does variable star last? So it could vary in brightness out of nowhere and probably stay there for a while. So I guess we'll stick with the long exposure. I wouldn't go any longer than a minute, even though we got guiding on our side now. Because, how much bigger do we need the star to be? Like, if it does get cloudy out, it will be nice to have a brighter exposure. We do have one weakness, however. I'm pretty sure there's going to be like nothing I can do to overcome this. Yeah. We're going to have a cutoff like somewhere at 90 degrees. Like, by then maybe it'll be like early morning anyway, so it's going to let it track. And if we lose the target because of the meridian flip, so be it. We might actually get it back on the flip side of the meridian flip. We just lose auto guiding, so you know what? Yeah, we're going to let it be. All right. I'm going to end this stream. And I thank anybody for watching. Of course, this will be used in an edited recording later on. If you have any questions, comments, or ideas, please leave a comment. For now, we shall end transmission. I gotta hit the button over here.